Welcome, curious minds. Today, we're going to unpack a really unsettling story. It's a real-life account. We've got the details from a transcript describing what happened to this young soldier maybe 8-9 years back. He was sent on what sounded like a totally normal task, just some cleaning. But it turned into something else entirely, something that left him pretty shaken up.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one because it doesn't just rely on, jump scares. It's the buildup, that slow creep of unease that really gets under your skin. It really challenges how we think about, reality versus perception, especially in places we don't know.
Exactly. So let's get into it. The story is about a conscript soldier, Kunat. And the account makes a point of saying he wasn't the type to get easily spooked by ghost stories. That's important.
Definitely key. It sets a baseline for him, makes his reactions later feel more, genuine.
So the assignment. Clean a 2-story wooden house. It belonged to a military commander in Ratchaburi province, Thailand. Pretty standard stuff, you'd think.
Right, seems straightforward. But that skepticism you mentioned. Sometimes it feels like the universe likes a challenge, Folks who say, I don't believe in ghosts, often seem to be the ones who run into them.
Maybe. So right away, his friends kind of warned him, casually, hey, watch yourself. Heard that house is a bit weird. But Kunat, it didn't bother him. He just shrugged it off. Then the sergeant drives him over. And this part is strange. The sergeant won't even get out of the car. Stays right there.
That's already a sign, isn't it? Someone in authority acting nervous.
Totally. He just points, clean his steps there, and then gives this really specific order. Clean the ground floor. Only the ground floor. Do not go upstairs. Absolutely forbidden.
Wow, okay.
And when Kunat asks, why, the sergeant just shuts him down. You don't need to know. Just do it. That's it.
That prohibition is powerful. It immediately makes that second floor the absolute focus of everything. Why the secrecy? Why the fear from the sergeant? It creates instant dread about what's up there, like a known danger zone.
Right, so Kunat's left thinking about this as he walks up to the house. It's large, wooden, 2 stories. And there's a spirit house right out front.
Which is common in Thailand, sure, but given the sergeant's warning, it adds to the whole vibe, doesn't it?
It really does. So he steps inside, and immediately he gets this feeling, just something's off. He can't explain it.
That initial gut reaction, your senses picking something up.
He tries to brush it off, Maybe it's just unfamiliar or stuffy from being closed up, rationalizing it.
The mind trying to find a logical reason for that primal sense of unease. It's a defense mechanism, really.
Inside, the main hall is huge. But strangely, he feels cramped. Claustrophobic almost.
Interesting paradox. Big space, small feeling.
And the stairs to that forbidden second floor. Right there, opposite the entrance. Like they're staring him down. He sees a sofa to the left, a display cabinet, and an old TV on the right with a rocking chair. Decides to start cleaning on the right. Thinks he'll probably crash near the TV later. Then, after cleaning a bit, he remembers. Oh right, new place. Should get incense, candles for the spirit house, pay respects.
A customary thing to do. Acknowledging the local guardians, you could say.
So he walks to a nearby shop. But then, you know how it is. He sees snacks, beer, grabs some beer thinking it'll help him sleep. And completely forgets the incense and candles. Just blanks.
Oh dear.
Only remembers when he gets back around 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And he's tired. Thinks, I'll do it tomorrow.
That little oversight. Forgetting the offering. In stories like this, that's often not a good move. It can be seen as disrespectful, even unintentionally.
Yeah, maybe. So cleaning's mostly done. But that warning, don't go upstairs. It's eating at him.
Curiosity, right? What could possibly be so bad up there?
Human nature. Tell someone not to look, and that's the first thing they want to do. He decides, okay, just a quick look. What harm can it do? He heads for the stairs.
And here we go. The moment of transgression. Crossing the line he's explicitly told not to cross, the tension just ramps up.
He puts his foot on the first step, and instantly he hears it. Thump, thump, thump from the second floor. Loud, like something big running.
Whoa! Okay, not subtle.
He freezes. Looks up. Just darkness at the top of the stairs, nothing visible. Sun's going down now, getting properly dark and creepy. He feels goosebumps all over.
Yeah. Nope. Time to rethink.
He definitely rethinks. Backs away fast, sits by the TV, tries to tell himself, okay, maybe a big dog or a cat. Definitely not a mouse, it was too heavy.
Trying to rationalize again, even after hearing that.
Exhaustion hits him hard, though. He nods off in the rocking chair, then eventually lies down on the floor near it. He shuts all the doors and windows, and the house goes completely silent. like unnaturally quiet.
That heavy silence after a sudden noise, sometimes that's worse. Your ears are straining, amplifying everything.
He's just drifting off, and then he feels it. A poke on his back. He tries to roll over, look, but he can't move. Body's completely locked.
Sleep paralysis, or FIAM as they call it, often linked to these kinds of encounters in Thai folklore.
Right. But here's the thing, he says he wasn't scared, just annoyed, determined to break free.
That's unusual. Most people panic. Shows his character again, maybe?
He struggles, mentally fights it for ages, and finally snap. He can move. He sits bolt upright, looks around the dark room, and he speaks out loud into the air. Says, look, I come in peace. Not here to bother anyone. Just cleaning. Let me sleep.
That's quite direct. And respectful in a way. Addressing the potential presence. Acknowledging it, but asking for space. Culturally, that makes sense.
He lies back down, tries again, but nope. A little later, another touch on his back. Stronger this time.
Persistent.
And then he hears it. Laughter. A child's laughter. Sounding happy, joyful even.
Child laughter in this context is never good. Never joyful. Always creepy.
The touching gets more insistent. Like a little kid's foot. Just kicking his back lightly. Playfully almost. He thinks, oh great, this is really happening. He's groggy, turns over slowly to look. And in the dim light near the TV cabinet, he sees them. Two small, thin legs. Pale. Like a little kid's, maybe 3 or 4 years old. Dangling from the cabinet, just swinging back and forth.
Just the legs? Oh, that's incredibly unsettling. The partial view makes it worse somehow.
No body, just the swinging legs. He said his heart just dropped, like falling. He scrambled up instantly, staring at the cabinet. Nothing there. Empty.
Vanished. Classic. Leaves you questioning if you even saw it, despite the sheer terror.
Yeah. It was about 1 a.m. Sleep was definitely off the table now. The silence after that was, as you can imagine, horrible. Just one dim light on, shadows everywhere. He's covered in goosebumps, totally freaked out, knows he cannot stay there. Too paranoid, too on edge.
That psychological impact is intense. Your safe space, the place you're supposed to rest, becomes the source of terror. It completely messes with your head.
He remembers that 24-hour game shop down the alley. Only place he can think of. Time to escape. He gets up, walks, maybe runs to the front door. Reaches for the doorknob.
Just get out, get out.
Hand touches the knob, and he hears a new sound. Clunk, clunk. Right behind him. On the same floor.
Oh, come on, not upstairs this time.
Nope, right there with him. He gets this icy feeling down his spine, and he just knows. Don't turn around.
Good instinct. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, or survival.
He yanks the door open, slams it shut behind him, and just bolts. Doesn't look back once. Makes it to the game shop, stays there all night. Plans to call the sergeant in the morning. Get me out of here.
That clunk sound behind him, leaving it unseen, is terrifying. Your mind fills in the blanks, often with something worse than reality, and it confirms the presence isn't just upstairs, it's mobile.
So, next morning comes, around 6 or 7 a.m. And despite everything, he feels this pull, curiosity again, or maybe just needing to understand. He goes back to the house.
That need for answers, even after pure terror, it's a strong drive. Trying to make sense of the nonsensical, looking for a rational explanation, maybe.
He looks around downstairs. Is there some kind of amulet? A Kumantong effigy, maybe? Something that could explain the child. Finds nothing. Only one place left to look.
Oh, he's gonna try again, the second floor.
He decides, whatever happens, I have to know. Starts up the stairs again. 1 step, 2 steps, 3, thump up thump. Again. But this time he says it sounded different. He was sure it was a person running.
A person? Okay, that adds a whole new layer.
Yeah.
Intruder, or something else pretending.
He stops dead. Thinks, okay, if it is a person, I'm in deep trouble for being up here against orders. But what if it's not? What if that's almost worse?
The ambiguity is maddening. Human threat or supernatural. Both are bad options.
He backs down slowly, totally confused now. This is messing with his head, especially since he never believed in this stuff. Even standing there in broad daylight looking up at the landing. Goosebumps again. He just can't stay. Leaves the house, spends the morning walking around a mall, just needs to be around normal life.
That shift from pure fear to this deep, unsettling confusion, it shows how profoundly the experience has destabilized his sense of reality.
He goes back to the house in the evening, and this time he remembers the offering. Buys incense, goes to the spirit house, does the whole thing properly, maybe hoping it helps.
A bit late, perhaps, but worth a try. A gesture of respect or appeasement.
Later that night, before trying to sleep again, brave man, he speaks out loud one more time. Not calmly like before, more like frustration, desperation. He says, look, I don't know what you are, what's in this house, but if you're real, just show yourself properly.
Throwing down the gauntlet almost. Asking for clarity, even if it's terrifying clarity.
He manages to fall asleep, but guess what wakes him up?
Let me guess. Clunking? Thumping.
Clunk, clunk, clunk. From upstairs, he looks up towards the landing, and he sees something. Standing near the top of the stairs. Just a figure. Dark. Hard to make out details. First thought, is it a person? A burglar.
The rational mind trying again.
Then this horrifying realization hits him like a punch to the gut. When he ran out the night before, in his panic, he left the front door wide open.
Oh no. Oh, that's bad.
If a real thief saw the commander's house just open like that, he'd be in massive trouble. Forget ghosts, the sergeant would kill him.
Okay, now he has to go back. He's trapped between the supernatural fear and the very real fear of military discipline. That's brilliant in a terrible way.
He has no choice. He walks back towards the house, hesitates at the gate, trying to build up courage, walks up to the main door, the one he left open. And just as he reaches it, slam, it bangs shut right in his face. Loudly.
By itself.
Okay.
Message received.
And from upstairs, thump, thump. That running sound again. Like, whatever was there is active, reacting to him. That's it. That is absolutely it for Kunnat, the final straw. He doesn't even pause. Turns around, runs straight back to the game shop. Done. Finished. Not going back. Ever.
I don't blame him one bit. The slamming door is such a direct, almost hostile interaction. It's not just passive phenomena anymore. It's responding to him.
So the next morning, he finally gets hold of the sergeant, tells him everything. The sounds, the paralysis, the legs, the figure. He even mentioned seeing a pregnant person at some point. That detail kind of came out later in the account.
A pregnant person? Wow, okay. That wasn't mentioned earlier in the sequence. That adds another whole dimension, multiple entities, or a more complex story behind the haunting. It remains unexplained.
He's desperate, asking the sergeant, who are they? What is in that house? But the sergeant just keeps saying, I don't know, stonewalling him.
Which suggests he does know, or at least suspects, but isn't allowed or willing to say. The conspiracy of silence.
Kunnat didn't dare ask the commander directly. Can you imagine? So he asked his buddies, the other soldiers back at the camp, their answer. Just as unsettling. They don't know the history either. But
let me guess, he wasn't the first.
Exactly. Every single conscript sent to clean that specific house experienced something weird, something similar.
So it's the house itself. It's got a reputation, known among the ranks, even if no one knows the full story. A persistent haunting tied to the location.
And that's where it ends for Kunnat. Just unanswered questions. Wondering about the child, the running, the pregnant figure, the sergeant's silence. What really happened in that house?
That lack of closure is almost as haunting as the events themselves. It leaves him and us suspended in that mystery. It shifts from just his story to the story of the place.
So for you listening, it really makes you think, doesn't it? How these unexplained things can just stick with you, change how you see things. And it makes you wonder about seemingly ordinary places, right? Especially ones with history, with those little whispered warnings. What secrets are they holding?
Yeah, it's a powerful story about confronting the unknown and how fear works. And maybe it suggests that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Maybe their purpose is just to linger, to make us question the edges of what we think is real. It certainly leaves an imprint.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our look into Kunnat's chilling experience at the commander's house. Definitely gave me goosebumps recounting it. What part stood out most to you? Did you put yourself in his shoes, wondering how you'd react?
It's definitely one that stays with you, makes you think about intuition, fear, and those things we just can't explain away.
We hope this story has given you something to chew on. There's always more out there, more strange corners of the world to explore. Until next time, stay curious.